Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
This is back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion. And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Hello, everybody. It is not Joey Mack. It's Terry Johns. Scotty and I just kind of joking around here as we get started. It's Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union here in the Country Financial Studios. Joey, they're just about ready to take off the Oregon men out at Eugene Airport and heading down to Las Vegas. And we got a great show. Yeah, come on, Ducks. Let's go. Taking on the Beavers tomorrow, 2:30. 2 o'clock with the pregame show. No Duck Insider tomorrow. Just kind of the semantics of trying to get that done and to make it all work. We'll just let you listen to Joey at 2 o'clock for the pregame show. Get you all ready for that game. Coming up on the show, Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, Devon Shea. Will join the show, and Joey had a nice interview with him. I think you're going to enjoy that as he'll give you the background of the PK Park improvements out at the baseball park, Hayward Field renovation, and more, plus Duck Softball Associate Head Coach Sam Marder. And good to hear from her. Of course, her brother, Jack, is a former Duck baseball player and assistant coach for Mark Wazakowski and the Oregon baseball team. But we'll hear from Sam. Team's big offensive weekend back in North Carolina, and home opener coming up this weekend at the Jane. That's right. And full preview of tomorrow's men's basketball tilt against Oregon State and the Pac-12 tournament, 2:30 tomorrow, as we mentioned. It's on Pac-12 Network until I think they get to the quarterfinals. Then I think the last game of the evening is like on FS1, and then the championship game on Saturday at 6 p.m. is on the Big Fox, the full network there. But other than that, Pac-12 Network has you covered, and Joey Mack, of course, has you covered on the Oregon Sports Network. The radio call for as the Ducks take on the Beavers tomorrow at 2:30. By the way, some other news. Will Richardson named second team All Pac-12. Named to the second team announced today. I think Frank Kepnong was honorable mention all defensive team, if I'm not mistaken. Seems like I read that as well. Announced today by the conference, of course, Will, 14 points a game, 45+% from the field, almost 4 rebounds, almost 4 assists, over a steal a game in the 30 games, all starts this season, and scored in double digits in 22 games with 7 20-point games. One of 37 players in program history to record over 1,000 points at Oregon. Richardson ranks 9th all-time in both assists and steals for the Ducks. In January, Richardson was twice named Conference Player of the Week and led the team to wins over 2 top 5 opponents, defeating then number 3 UCLA and number 5 USC on the road. Highlight of the year. And I mean, no other team in the country has that to their resume. But the Ducks still, what they've done, they're probably going to need to win the conference tournament to get into the NCAA tournament. At least that's what everybody thinks. You never know. The Ducks were on the road when they beat those two teams. In the month, he averaged 19 points, 59% shooting, and 54% three-point shooting, 3.3 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 1.6 steals. And is the first Ducks player to make an all-conference team since both Chris Duarte and Eugene Omarui earned the all Pac-12 first team honors last season. And just in recently, Joey Mack let us know Will Richardson not on the trip to Vegas. Did not play the final game against, where were they? I'm trying to remember even where they were. Who did they just play? Anyway, did not play in the final game. And So not traveling with the team to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 tournament due to a non-COVID-19 related illness, non-COVID. And the All-Pac-12 second-team honoree averaged, as we just told you, 14 points in all of those. So not on the trip. I asked, is it possible, is it the entire trip if they keep winning? And nobody seems to know, so we'll see. So it's the day-to-day, but is not on the plane with the Ducks heading down to Las Vegas. Will Richardson will be out. All right, we got a great show for you coming up. Joey Mack had some great interviews with Sam Marder, and coming up next, Devon Shea, the Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, and updates you on PK Park at Hayward Field. That is coming up next here on Duck Insider. Terry for Joey, back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s, like go back to college, learn to skateboard. Whoa. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. At aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a free 3-minute chat with the friendly digital retirement coach, Avo, and receive personalized tips to help boost your savings. Start chatting with Avo today at aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider here on a Tuesday. Terry Johnson for Joey Mack, who's heading down to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 tournament, men's style, coming up starting tomorrow. And the Oregon Men 2:30 tomorrow, 2 o'clock pregame show with Joey Mack on the Oregon Sports Network. Earlier today, I think it was, that Joey got a chance to sit down with Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, Devon Shea. Been at Oregon for quite a while, talking about PK Park and Hayward Field. Gives his expertise, and he knows what he's talking about. And here's Joey Mack with Devon Shea.
This is, I think, the second time that Devon Shea has joined us on the show. Devon is the Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events. Devon, what does that mean, and how are you?
I'm doing
great.
Well,
I got to get a fist bump. Hold.
Sorry, man. Sorry. I thought that was a pretend microphone or something.
No.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, God, do I have a microphone that I could? Wait.
Hey, Joey, this is your world. This is off the rails already. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. Now I'm feeling special.
Now you got that microphone.
Yes, there we go.
There you go. It'll work. Look at that.
Yes.
This is great.
So what is Associate Athletic? That means that I help oversee all of the facilities that we have in Oregon Athletics and events that take place in them and elsewhere sometimes.
So there's your late night style microphone. It's not a very like old school. You know how most of the time they'll have one sitting on the desk that's like old school? This one, we must have one in a closet somewhere that doesn't work.
Joey, I want one that comes down from the rafters.
The boom mic?
Yeah, I want that one, the old school boxing ring one.
And the boom mic, that's like the thing in TV, right? Where if the boom mic comes down and you see it, it's like a mistake.
Yep.
Well, I mean, so here we are. Well, we joke, but Devon actually has a serious job. You deal with coaches. You deal with umpires and officials. You deal with fans. You deal with everybody, seemingly. Like, your job, I think, is unique, Devon, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you really work with and touch maybe every piece of Oregon athletics over the course of an average work week.
Yeah, no, it's our job, my folks within the facility and event team, to kind of, make sure that everybody's taken care of. We're the kind of the facilitator of how the events kind of take shape, and we really challenge our event managers to take responsibility for the whole event from beginning to end. Now, obviously, we're not technically, the ones that make the whole event happen. We're just the ones that kind of keep things organized, make sure different groups are working together, not stepping on each other's toes, making sure that we're taking into account, all the different factors. That's kind of the beauty of putting together, an event. It's kind of blending all these different objectives. And sometimes you get two different groups that run into each other, and you got to sort through it and get people talking and, come to a good resolution. And it's all about prioritizing, first and foremost, the game and the competitive, interest of the sport and the game that's going on. And then you kind of move out from there. Fan, experience is a big focus of what my folks do. And, and then it goes on and on. You got to take conference, NC2A guidelines, fire code, lots of different things into play that all kind of intermix, and we just try to navigate that so that everybody's happy, which is not always easy.
Yeah, these are the interviews that I, as many of you have probably noticed over the years, that I like to do on Duck Insider, because there's so much that goes into executing an athletic event beyond just, the X's and O's of what happens on a field. And I feel like Devon's a great representation of that. And really the reason I want to give everybody the backstory here. So I'd had you on, and we kind of talked about your background and how you got into what you do within athletics. And then a few weeks ago, Eric Rodell was on, Deputy Athletic Director, and Eric is the sports administrator for baseball, and we were discussing PK Park and the improvements to the ballpark. And Eric said, you know what, you're asking me some of these questions, Joey. You need to talk to Devon Shea. You need to bring Devon on the show. He is the expert on the turf. He's the expert on everything.
Come on now.
That is exactly why you're here. So everyone, just so you know, that's a little bit of the backstory. The PK Park project. I've got a lot of questions for you, and I want kind of fans to get the inside look at how a project like that goes. So take us back to the inception, if you will, of okay, we're going to do a PK Park improvement project. Walk fans through what that actually looks like on a macro level, if you will.
Yeah, no problem. There was lots of stops and starts with this one, as there are with many projects. I think we've been talking about turf replacement, going back 5 or 6 years with Coach Horton. When PK Park, and at the time, that was a turf and also potentially moving the fence in, which ended up happening. But at the time, the thinking was that, that the turf, that was put in was starting to, wear out a little bit. It wasn't necessarily, when it was installed, particularly baseball specific. And, there was a lot of new advances in technology, with turf that has come about in the last, 5 or 6 years as pertains to baseball. And so it was looking to capitalize on that. So the other, when I talked about the fence moving in, it was the belief that when the project was done, there might have been a little bit of an underestimation of what the weather and the temperature and the humidity and all the things that the great Pacific Northwest brings to the table, has an effect on baseball. And so PK Park, was very much a pitcher's park. And I think the hope was to kind of balance things out a little bit. And, so that was kind of where it started, the concept. And then from there, Coach Waz came on, and, there was now becoming more of a sense of urgency to get the turf replaced, because it was, getting to the point of where it was beyond its useful life.
Yeah.
But, when you get a new coach, you want to make sure that, you figure out what direction you want to go. So we had one more season on it, and, we started talking about it. So it really kind of started to take focus of, here was the old project, here was some of the drawings that we did, just very preliminary. Coach, what do you want? And, from there, he talked about the fence coming in, that would be a good thing, and just kind of balance out, that pitchers versus hitters park, that type of thing.
Make it play more true.
Exactly.
Baseball,
and turf nowadays, and I mentioned some of there's new technology out there. So Field Turf, who's a partner of ours, and that's the turf that we've put in at PK, we work with them on, a lot of different projects. Autzen, we did the Mo. They're a very good partner. And, they've really, took an interest in our campus. And, they've really put in the extra time from service, to installation. That they're just great to work with. So having said that, Coach really wanted to have a ballpark that played true. He wanted it to play like grass, and he wanted it to play like dirt and clay. And, Field Turf has put a lot of time and energy in the science of turf, and they put out their baseball product. And, Coach had a good experience. It helped that he had a good experience out in Tennessee, which is, another field turf ballpark. And so we talked about that, and we met with them, and we talked about bringing in competitors, because I always like to have competition when these things happen. And but Coach really liked the field turf product. He liked the people. I was able to vouch for all the service and installation that they did, and they've always treated us fair from a cost standpoint. So, we moved forward with them. And so we ended up installing Field Turf's double play turf, and then I know there's a lot of interest in this portion of it, but the infill is the big thing. And there was an infill called Pure Select, what actually utilizes olive cores.
Now here's the correction, everybody. All right, Devon and I talked about this beforehand. That Josh Kasovich had mentioned coconut husks were used. It's not coconut husks. It's olive cores.
Yeah, olive cores. So think of olive pits. I mean, that's really what it is. But olive cores is the term they use, and it's interesting because they tested and tested and tested, but to get that true dirt clay feel, olive cores was the infill that they found that plays as true to clay and dirt as possible. And the feedback we're getting from the players and from the coaches is that's actually come to be. So
wow.
It's interesting. And when they said olive cores, the first thing I said, why, who thought of this, and how do you get here?
Where's the olive oil that comes with it?
Well, exactly.
Right.
California olive cores, I should say. So hopefully
from Corning, I bet.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't offend our Oregon brethren. But, so, anyways, but yeah, it was a concept that they came up with through testing that they found that it plays as true as dirt and clay does. And
that's amazing.
They talk about bounces and a lot of different things. So
true hops, all those things you hear in baseball.
So when you go out to PK Park, there is olive cores. Anything you see out there that is brown has olive cores in it.
Wow.
And everything else is a little more traditional, sand and crumb rubber in the outfield and the infield. But
it's really evolved, it sounds like. Like you've mentioned that when PK Park was first built, it wasn't like baseball-specific turf, is my understanding, right?
No, it was very similar to what they put in for football, or soccer. Turf has just come a long way in the last 10 years. And so they've just experimented, and they've gotten better and better and better, and turf is just going to continue. Once the scientists got involved, you know that they're going to keep at it and keep working to get the best product that's out there. And the double play, it has a thatch system which keeps that olive core in the infield down into the turf. So that's another new field turf, technology piece that
interesting.
Really kind of all played to bring it all together to play the way it is. And, so far, usually with turf, you start out with something that is, plays a little slower than you'd like, which is right where you want it. And then, through watering, rain, and grooming, you just slowly, it starts to pick up speed. And the idea is you want to hit your sweet spot for the longest period of time possible, because eventually a field will continue to get hard over time, even when you're working with it. But you hit that sweet spot for that, 7 years about that, and then it'll slowly just get a little too fast, and then about the 10-year mark, you replace it. So
how much education goes into it on your side? Because, we were saying this, like, Eric was like, Devon is the turf expert. Like, he's the one that knows this stuff in the department. But then there's also your staff, like I'm thinking Kenny Hoffman and his crew who have to maintain it. How much education goes into, proper maintenance of something like this for all of your facilities?
Yeah, I mean, so, Kenny and Steve and, a lot of our grounds guys over the years, a lot of them come from, grounds, actual grass turf.
Right.
And so as, our facilities have migrated over to artificial turf, they've had to go through an adjustment there.
Sure.
And learn all about it. And, they've done a great job. They're so, with employees, you really want people who just really take responsibility, for their facility, for their grounds, their role.
Take pride in it.
And exactly. So I would never walk out on that mound and touch anything,
Yeah.
I'd be shooed off. Now, I do like to go out there and, give them a hard time, but they do a great job because they take responsibility for it. That mound, I mean, everybody knows that Kenny, puts his lifeblood into that thing, and, he works his tail off.
It is his blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, that's exactly what you want. But for me, Turf, I mean, Eric calling me an expert is an overstatement in a big way. But, as I always talk to young people getting into this business, the thrive to continue learning is huge for me. So, if I need to learn about turf, then I'm going to go start reading about turf.
Right.
I'm going to go talk to people who do turf. I'm going to spend time with the people who are trying to sell me turf. And eventually, you get enough information, you start asking them questions, you shoot holes in what they're telling you, and suddenly you can talk about turf. And I can say the same thing for technology. We haven't even gotten into the video board at PK, but I guess I'm the video board expert now too.
You are now.
And it's really just because I took the time to care about it, and it's part of my job now, and I'm happy to dive into it, because if I don't know it, I'm going to learn about it, especially if I'm going to be responsible for it. So.
That's right. There you go, Devon Shea, Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, and somebody's that put all that together and knows all the details about it. It's fascinating. Part 2 coming up with Devon and Joey next after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Attention Student Rocket League gamers. The $125,000 Level Next Rocket League Spring Showcase is back, and free entry is now open. Rep your school in the Level Next Rocket League Spring Showcase to win the championship trophy, ring, and part of the $125,000 prize pool. Like this opportunity, food is too good to be wasted. With Best Foods, you can save more and waste less food. Hashtag make taste, not waste. Registration closes March 27th. Sign up now at levelnextesports.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse? Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon. Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Terry in for Joey, heading down to Las Vegas he is with Oregon men's basketball Pac-12 tournament. Tomorrow, 2:30 against the Beavers. Let's get to part 2 with Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, Devon Shea, with Joey.
Devon Shea joining us, Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events, better translated to Associate Athletic Director for the Jack of all trades and Master of few.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes. And I'll actually wear that badge with honor. Because knowing a lot about a lot of different things has served me well over my career, and but expert is a strong statement for anything.
Devon Shea
Yeah.
with us. I did want to ask you a little bit, because we talked about this off air, the duck pattern in the outfield. That was a unique thing to this installation at PK.
Yeah, so we work with Todd Van Horn, longtime, designer, really just a talented individual when it comes to design. He's got a long history with the Oregon Athletic Department, and we tapped into his design genius, and so there's a lot of different changes out there at PK. I mean, it looks like a brand new park if you've been out there, and he just does such a great job, and he comes up with, no matter what kind of situation you put him in, Todd, we don't have much money, this is what we're looking at, okay, no problem, and he comes up with it. Todd, we've got all the money in the world, he's got the greatest idea ever. So
Sure.
he's just really talented at what he does, and the ducks was an idea that there's 5 ducks in the outfield that are flying in formation, going out of the park. We're thinking about home runs and different things when we think about that. It was supposed to be subtle, though, so it's not like it's in your face.
Yeah.
Not everything that Todd does is over the top and
It's not
and
the
in your
O in
face.
center field.
No, the O at center field is definitely in your face. And the new PK Park logo, which was created by Todd, and it's just a lot of creative ideas coming out of that. But the ducks themselves were supposed to be subtle, and we were thinking about overhead shots. When it comes to drone footage nowadays, which is kind of becoming a staple in the business, and we were thinking about football games in PK Park, being showcased, and some of our national games, and I think it looks really nice. It's just a nice added. I don't think anybody in the country has. Well, they definitely don't have as big of a logo out in the outfield as we do, and nobody, took the time and energy and resources to put in something as subtle like that. But it just adds to the park and the feel of it.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Continuing with Devon Shea, talking PK Park. You mentioned the video board. Fans, you're gonna love this thing, and I'm gonna give an approximation. I've been talking about this. Imagine the current existing video board. Well, the new one is about 6 of those. 3 on top, 3 on the bottom, roughly. You're gonna know the exact measurements better than me, but that's what it looks to me.
I'm gonna
like.
go with that. I'm gonna go with 6.
I think it looks good.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it.
No, it will be the largest video board in the Pac-12 for any baseball stadium. It will be the highest resolution by a good margin than any video board in the Pac-12, and it will be the brightest video board of any baseball stadium in the Pac-12. So, that wasn't something we set out to do. We wanted to make something that fit the park, but working with Daktronics, who's done awesome video board now, they're doing Hayward video boards. There's we just took a look at their technology, and now we've got consistency. We've got 10 millimeter. It's called surface-mounted diode displays, which are the top of the line. It's what industry standard that's going into all new facilities right now. So. We did spend a lot of our resources on making sure we had the top of the line technology in control, and also with the video board itself, and it's going to make a huge difference out of PK. It just really is.
And it's coming soon.
Yep.
So fans, you'll be seeing it this month. Is still the plan, right?
Yeah, March 18th, the Utah series. So we're excited about that. A lot of things to navigate, with the video board nowadays. COVID was. Some things that popped up, and also just supply chain issues and things like that. So we missed our mark by a little bit, but we recovered nicely, and they really came through at the end. And I'm expecting to see almost a full video board when I walk out there today.
Wow!
Now it's going to take another week or so to get everything connected and working and tested and trained, and a lot of different things go into it, but so far, we're on schedule and we're ready to go for Utah. So
shout out to Scott LeBounty and his crew, as well, from Oregon's video department. Scott's the assistant AD for video services, and his team. I mean, they run all this stuff, and it takes a village.
Absolutely, and I just build them, so don't think that I go any farther than that. I'm here to deliver it over to Scott. And Scott and his team have been involved throughout this process, and they've been talking with Daktronics for months now. And they've been working on the content side of it, what it's going to look like. There's so much more that goes into the video board than just building it.
Right.
That's why I don't take credit for it. I just deliver it and walk away. And Scott's team, is there to to really take care of all that and really make it, as people like to say, make it sing and dance.
Right.
Once it comes online. So.
Yeah. Devon Shea joining us. We're going to continue talking about some of the projects. As you can see, Devon's a guy who's involved in all of these big projects, if you will. I guess capital projects. Is that what I'm supposed to call them? Is that the right phrase?
That is one of them, yes.
One of the many. So
yes.
big time projects. Well, one of them was Hayward. And you haven't been on the show since Hayward went through its big renovation. And that had to be one of, if not the biggest projects, I'd imagine, that's ever been undertaken around here. I mean, I know Matthew Knight Arena is big, and any facility's big. Jane Sanders Stadium, PK back in the day, but boy, Hayward had to be quite the experience to be a part of.
Yeah, and I came to the Hayward project midstream and closer to the end, but I really got involved for the last, it's hard to say, after everything kind of got put on pause that year. Right. So it was probably the last year and a half that I really got involved. And, we were fortunate, because we didn't have a track season, that we were able to go through. And normally with a construction project, you get to the end, everybody thinks you're done when you open a building, and that's just not the case. You keep building after the fact. And in this case, we were really able to work out a lot of the bugs and the kinks with the building while not having a track season, unfortunately. But fortunate for that side of things, we were able to work through a lot of challenges. So from a building standpoint, when we did open, a lot of those things had been worked out, which was nice. The bigger challenge was really more about, coming out of, some tough financial years and, dealing with staffing up and, dealing with, getting the right people in place. And dealing with labor shortages and a lot of different things that made that season challenging. And every week it was, we're going to play. Are we going to play? How are we going to play? Are we going to have fans? Are we not going to have fans? It was just a really challenging time to putting on events in our facilities. And so you plan and then you replan, and just every week it was something different. And with some of our partners that were having labor trouble, that we rely on for event staff and cleaning and different things. So there was just a lot of challenges. But the staff really buckled down, worked hard together. Jill Steele and Robert Johnson were great partners in helping us, get the building ready. Charles Doherty, who's our director of operations over at Hayward Field.
The man.
Yeah, he's the guy to go to at Hayward, and if you want anything facility related. And, I'm so glad I have him over there. Was happy to provide that opportunity for him. And, I rely on him heavily. But, great experience. Everybody pitched in. It was just a really trying event season that year. And we pulled off the NCAA championships. We pulled off the Olympic trials. We had a robust track season as well, and everything was new to a lot of the officials that we're working over. They're all great volunteers that really help us out over at Hayward, and I'd say it was a success. I mean, it was trying, but it was successful. So.
And it's not done yet. You mentioned, it never ends. I mean, if those of you who walk around campus, you'll see that new video board is still going in at Hayward Field. So not quite done yet over there.
No, there's a couple things going on right now. The video board is obviously the really eye-catching thing. Mm-hmm. I think, I don't want to, speak out of line, but I think that the stadium just really needed one last piece.
Yeah.
And, I think our wonderful project manager, Mr. Howard Slesher, said that, I really want to do something from a video standpoint, at that end of the stadium. And it really just, it just blows me away when you drive by it. I mean, it's so impressive. Architecturally, the architect that designed it, Randy Stegmeyer, I mean, he's been on the Jakewood project. Yeah. He's been on the HDC. I mean, he's very talented in what he does, and it's just such a beautiful structure. And it's really going to, really enclose that end and kind of enclose the stadium, and it's just going to make it more intimate. And that video board is not small.
No.
And it's not small from a perspective of any grand football stadium But when you start talking about, a 13,000 seat, track and field stadium, it blows you away. Yeah. And when we turn that thing on, you guys just wait. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. And once again, Daktronics was involved, great technology, top of the line. It's going to blow you away. And when those runners come around that turn, right before they hit the home stretch, they're going to be able to see themselves, twice life size. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. So really excited about that. Another project we got going at Hayward is just to continue to augment things around is there's a warm-up track that we work with our recreation partners on campus that is going to be augmented. Actually, I'm just working on that just yesterday. So they're going to add 8 lanes of warm-up space. It's about, I think, 40-some meters. That's just going to be, it'll get used for a lot of different things for recreation around campus on an everyday basis. But for track meets, it'll be another warm-up space and just continue to augment the experience over at Hayward.
Love it. So you're always thinking long-term. I mean, clearly, that's part of your job. I wanted to just leave you with this. I mean, fans are always curious about what's next and what's coming. But for your job, I mean, you're always thinking about it's not just the next thing to build; it's maintaining. Just how do you encapsulate? I guess in a minute answer to this question. How do you do that? How do you think long term? How do you think about day to day? What's your strategy as a leader, as a professional in that regard?
So there's the things that I know I have to do, and a lot of times there's those projects that aren't what I would consider a sexy project. If I'm going to replace a roof somewhere,
but
I
don't want to have to do that on my house.
It's a good example. It's one of those things where you have to do it. You need it to function. But nobody's gonna, I don't know, nobody's gonna get behind it and donate money for it. So usually that's bringing bad news to folks that are working through, how to manage our resources and saying, hey guys, I've put this off long enough. We're struggling with this. And really it's about, trying to make sure that we're going to spend the money wisely, get it done when it needs to be done. Don't let it go too long so that you actually have to spend more money to fix it, which is a lot of what you do at your house.
Sure.
And just making sure that you don't have problems in performance. But so there's that portion of it. And then there's, I know right now, I mean, you can just start, I mean, anybody can figure this out. How many turf have we replaced? I mean, you got Jane Sanders, you've got Autzen was redone. You've got the Mow that was redone. So, now we've just done PK Park. So you just go through our facilities mentally and
you start that checklist.
You kind of know what's coming next. So, Pape Field is getting up there. So there's, you just know when certain things are coming, you know what the estimate of how long they're supposed to last. And then, it depends, sometimes when you get some new ideas coming in from the outside, when new coaches come on board.
Sure.
There's ideas and desires of how they do things and how they train and what's important to them. So it's always evolving, but, having that mental list going and having a written list going are different things. And I try to give people enough notice so they can start to prepare for it and make sure we can, allocate resources for it, and then we move forward.
There you go. Boy, that was fascinating. Devon Shea, Associate Athletic Director for Facilities and Events. Fascinating stuff. He knows his stuff. All right, softball home opener coming up this weekend, and we will hear from softball associate head coach Sam Marder next after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Thanks for calling Toyota. This is Jan. How can I help?
Hey, Jan. Say, is now a good time for a new Toyota?
You bet it is. Now through April 4th is the perfect time to shop for a RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma, Corolla, and more. Imagine yourself in a RAV4. Where would you go first?
Skinny Al's Barbecue.
I'm imagining you inviting me.
Let your imagination run wild at your participating Toyota dealer. Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Is that a faucet running?
That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you, and for the first time, Sam Marder is here.
Let's go.
Associate head coach, Oregon softball. So I got to tell the full story here, okay? So it's Monday morning. Ducks are coming off a weekend of 12 runs, 9 runs, 9 runs, and 9 runs. Pretty good 5-game road trip. So Coach Lombardi texts me. She says, hey, offensive explosion this weekend. I think you should talk to Sam Marder instead of me this week. And, well, here we are. So you're in the seat. Welcome. Thanks for being here. How are things?
Oh, things are good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I'm glad Coach Lombardi was on board with what we were doing this weekend. I'm glad I'm here for a good reason.
That's good praise, right? For the person that runs the offense. And, it's always a group effort, but I think it's safe to say that, we're going to give credit where credit's due. That's my job.
Listen, the credit goes to me the least. I can promise you that. So it's there's a million other people that come before me and our offense doing well, but I appreciate you having me.
Well, hey, you bet. So that's how we got here. Now, you don't know this. Maybe you do. I can't remember if I've said this to you in the office before, but everybody who comes on the show for the first time, they have to tell their 2-minute life story. It's the first time we've had you on the show, so you got to tell your own 2-minute life story here, and the stopwatch is running.
Wow. Well, I will say this. I am from Los Angeles, California. I went to school at Ohio State, have gotten a chance to coach at a lot of really amazing places. I've had a great opportunity. At so many different spots, and just fallen in love with coaching, and now I get to come back to Oregon. I was actually a volunteer coach, my first job ever at Oregon, and now I feel like I'm getting here, and my only mission in life is to get people to like me as much as they like my brother. So
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I can understand that. Well, that was only like 32 seconds. So
that's it. We're gonna, you know what? I've been trying really hard to make things a lot more brief lately when I talk.
Really?
So nice and easy, nice and compact. So.
Are you a long-winded speaker?
Oh, I talk way too much all the time.
I mean,
talk
Coach,
way too much.
I hate to tell you this, but I mean, that's like my job is to talk way too much. So that's why I bring on people so that the fans don't have to just hear from me all the time.
Oh, no. Ask our hitters. I'm sure that I would talk way too much of the time.
Well, I do too. So, join the club. You mentioned your brother, Jack.
Yep.
We've told the story before, and if you've missed it, go read Rob Mosley's article on GoDucks.com talking about the relationship. You guys have really made a career out of your love for diamond sports, both of you, and that's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. And really, who you need to talk to is my younger sister. She's the most talented one in our whole family, for sure.
And what does she do?
So she just got done. She was actually a professional dancer in New York.
Really?
Yep. Ballet, modern dance. She listens to this, she'll kill me for not getting it exactly. She's probably like, Sam, how many times have we gone over this? This is exactly what I do.
Right.
But she's a professional, and she just retired and is now living with her fiance and doing a couple different things in Denver. So, but she's definitely the most talented one. You can even ask Jack that.
So the Marder household was competitive and athletic.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Incredibly competitive. I'm probably the least athletic out of all three of us, so I just had to scrap to hold my own.
That says something, though. So, Sue, to your mom and dad, then, and everybody in the Marder family, thanks for what you've done for society and for Oregon athletics, because we appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so I had to talk a little bit about you, but I will say in very coach fashion, you're the first to say that it comes down to a lot of others that make everybody successful. I think a lot of coaches are very much like rising tide raises all boats. Is that a fair assessment? Is that kind of how you view it?
Absolutely. I just was even talking to our strength coach this morning, and we talk about it as hitters all the time. I mean, we're only going to be as good as how our bodies move, how strong our bodies are, and I feel like strength coaches, athletic trainers don't get nearly enough credit for what they do. We're nothing without them, and we're super blessed here at Oregon to have some of the best in the country doing that. So it takes a village for our team to do well. It takes an absolute village. I mean, we have so much in our support staff, and for me, I mean, I'm being honest. Our success comes down to our athletes first and foremost. They're the ones going up there and in the grind every single day. They're the ones going up there competing in the box, right? They're the ones balancing everything in their life, and then they have so much support staff around them that the credit really goes to everybody else.
I got to tell you, when you said it takes a village, Scott and Ryan sitting here were both like,
yep, it does.
It does, because so I say that all the time to our interns and to our staff, because nothing happens without the team.
Oh,
that's what
absolutely.
it takes. I love you bringing that up. Let's recap the weekend that was. I mentioned you scored 12 runs, 9 runs, 9 runs, 9 runs. It was an extra inning affair, though, in that first one. You guys were in a tight one. I wanted to start with you there. Runners left on base, and then suddenly there weren't a lot of runners left on base in the late innings. You made some adjustments, it seemed like to me, watching that game.
Yep, I think that was a really key game for us, as not just an offense, but as a team. That was such a gritty performance, I felt like. And it's tough to be at someone else's place always, right? And, we were down by 2 with 1 out in the 7th inning. And we had so many big at-bats, especially coming in from the bottom half of our lineup. It was just such mature at-bats that we had. And then you had some people come in really clutch moments. And we had a lot of different people do it. But to be beat down by 2 with 1 out. And then the score, I think we scored 8 runs with 2 outs in the 10th inning with nobody on. And just was a good message for our team to know, at any point we can win a game. But I think it really kind of broke through a lot for them just to continue to trust themselves and just to compete always. So it was great.
It's super interesting you bring that up, and I love talking to you and getting into your perspective, because Coach Lombardi and I have had this discussion before. Like, you guys can score and win in a lot of different ways. Yep. I felt like that was on display even this weekend, too. Like, you guys really do have a deep lineup when you get it rolling.
Absolutely. Part of our MO as an offense, we've talked about this with our team, is we have a lot of different ways to generate runs. We like to pride ourselves on being fast, on being able to run the bases really, really well first and foremost. And I think that has really showed up in our offense while our power is getting there, right? And a lot of times hitting with those power numbers, it just takes a little bit of time. It takes time to settle in for hitters to get comfortable, and in the meantime, until we've done that, we've really relied on being able to generate runs in different kinds of ways. So what's really fun about this offense is it's not just one-dimensional, which I love.
Talking about that first game was against North Carolina Greensboro. Then you guys went to the Carolina Classic. You won against Penn State, UConn, North Carolina, and then again against UConn. Give us your general breakdown. What did you like from the entire team in this weekend?
I love the way we competed all around. We ran into some good arms, and what I loved is that it wasn't just one person getting the job done. We had a lot of different people come through in really clutch situations. It was great. We've talked a lot about an offense of how quickly can we get on a team. And I think for one of the first times all season, you saw this offense getting on teams earlier and earlier in the game, which was really exciting to see. But also, even our last game against UConn, it took us a little bit longer to kind of figure her out. But what I was super proud about was that nobody panicked. They continued to have great at bats. They continued to compete. We had some really big moments. I remember KK, had a really big home run. You saw Jazz Severs come in with a pinch hit double. You saw a lot of really big moments. But I was proud that offense continued to have really, really good at-bats the entire game and finally just broke through.
Sam Marder joining us, talking Oregon softball. talking about some adversity that you guys have faced throughout the season, too. I mean, everybody's going to have some banged-up players, some injuries, but you guys certainly, that's been the case at times. The depth of your lineup, I feel like, has been on display in the early parts of this season.
It's been awesome. And I'm just really proud of, these women continuing to work and work and work, no matter if they're getting in the lineup, they're not getting in the lineup. I mean, you talk about someone like Valerie Wong, who, if you look at her career, she's gotten in at times. And, as Tara went down, she really, really stepped up. And she's someone who's had great at-bats all season long, but someone who I think was really ready for her opportunity. I mean, if you wouldn't know this unless you knew Val, but this is an athlete who is in there every day working, every single day. And you can just see that when her moment came, she was ready for it. And I'm just so proud of her for wanting that opportunity and for being ready for that opportunity.
She's hitting 364.
Yeah, she's doing amazing. It's Val, again, goes back to that competing. If you knew Val, you'd know she competes in everything she does. In conditioning, on the field, whatever it is. I mean, Val's always up, always competing. And so it's not a surprise to me how well she's doing.
A couple other individuals for you. Hannah Delgado with a big weekend. She's up to 444.
Oh, monster.
Leading average. What's gone so right for her lately?
I just think that what you're seeing right now is she's really implementing her slapping game, which has been huge. And having Coach Reagan on our staff, someone who is obviously, without introduction, one of the best offensive players that has come out of Oregon, but being able to help her in her short game. And for Hannah, she's just tough to defend. You don't know if she's going to hit away. I mean, she has 2 bombs on the season. She has some doubles, and she can slap and bunt at any time. And so for her, she's just creating so much space on the field because defenses might not know exactly how to defend her. But again, it just goes to Hannah's work ethic and adding that element to her game.
I could ask you about a lot of individuals, and we'd fill up about 3 hours worth of the show. I do want to ask you about Allie Bunker.
Yep.
Consistent, and you talk about consistency. That hitting streak is getting pretty long now.
Oh, we don't talk about it, though.
I know. That's why you notice I didn't say the exact number. I'm just saying she's hitting well lately.
Bunk is a pro. Bunk is just a pro. And I hope that she gets the opportunity to play softball as long as she wants to. She is someone that we've talked about all year as just a constant, reliable person in our lineup. She's been asked to do a lot of things. She's been asked to lead off for one of the first times in her career, right? And she's just a pro, so she can do it. She had one of my favorite string of at-bats all weekend in the UConn game, being able to hit multiple different pitches hard. And I appreciate for Bunk how much she's able to let even the team lean on her, at times. And just, it's tough to be a leader like that, right? And to have, to put that on you. And she just, I can't say enough about what a pro she is.
You mentioned being on the road a lot.
Yep.
Now you guys are back at home. You get a chance to play in front of the Jane Sanders Stadium crowd. Portland State, 4 o'clock on Friday, and then 2 against North Dakota State on Saturday. What are you looking forward to? How exciting is this going to be this weekend?
These women have been so tough in traveling. We've traveled across the country. We've had, different kind of game times. They've managed that with school, and I'm just really proud of how tough they've been in this traveling season. I think for us, there's nothing more important than our athletes being able to recover, being able to have their bodies healthy. And so it's really nice to not have to put that burden of traveling on them for a week and being able to be at home, obviously, and sleep in their beds and have their routine, right? But just the extra day of recovery, I think, is really huge for them. Playing in front of our fans, we're so excited. We can't wait. I mean, we have the best fans out there, so I'm super excited to be able to play in front of them and for our athletes just to be able to play on their field. I think it's going to be really fun.
There you go, Associate Head Coach Sam Marder. Isn't it fun to hear somebody that knows their craft so well? We just hear him talking about hitting, and just she knows it. You can tell. So's her brother over on the baseball side, no doubt about that. We'll come back, wrap up today's show after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Money isn't interested in the fact that you dream of going to Greece. And it doesn't pace at night wondering how you'll pay for braces 3 times. The point is, money without people is just money. Only people can use it to run the family ranch, buy their first house, or adopt a happy old dog. To us, the powerful thing about money isn't money at all. It's helping you harness the power of yours. On Point. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too. Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and experiences connect through conversation, and it feels good.
This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too. Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together. Start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Terry for Joey. He's heading down to Las Vegas with Oregon men's basketball. 2:30 tomorrow. Take on the Beavers in the first round action as the Ducks are the number 5 seed. The Beavers the number 12 seed. And go Ducks. So Will Richardson named second team all Pac-12 today. Did not make the trip. So doesn't sound like will be down in Las Vegas at all. By the way, softball, wanted to mention the first game of that tournament for them, 4 o'clock at the Jane. Their home opener at the Jane this year against Portland State. As it's Portland State, North Dakota State, Oregon State, and Oregon. And always some great softball at the Jane. Women waiting to find the Selection Sunday coming up 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. on ESPN. Find out where the Ducks go. I know we're all still hoping that they will host, but it's it's not very. They needed that win over Utah to really have a chance at that. But wherever they go, we will support them. I'll be there calling the games for you. And it'll be a whole lot of fun as they're going to do great. By the way, Tip-Off Tuesday coming up. I got a chance to talk with head coach Kelly Graves, still down in Las Vegas, watching his son Will, who plays for Gonzaga men. And so we got a great conversation with him. Wrap it up. It's the last Tip-Off Tuesday show. Joey Mack talked with Dana Altman. That's coming up a little more than a half hour if you watch live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, right? Is that it? Okay, that'll do it for the show. Thanks, everybody. No show tomorrow.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can step, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can step, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.